And KVGC News Time is now 7 minutes after the hour. Well, the Plymouth City Council has fired City Manager Jeff Gardner. Meeting in closed session at the end of their meeting on August 23rd, 2 weeks ago, the council voted 3-2 to vote to exercise its right to terminate the agreement for city manager services with Gardner per his employment contract. Gardner, who's been city manager for 6 years, will work until September 28th. Council member Leonard Burns, Vice Mayor Sandy Kiles, and Mayor John Colburn voted to end Gardner's contract, with Peter Amoruso and Keith White opposed. At their meeting last night, the council voted to appoint Carolyn Lair as interim city manager. Lair has spent 30 years working in local government and 16 years as a city manager, most recently for the city of Emeryville, California. She will fill the position while the city council conducts a formal search to fill the position permanently. Lair will be paid $10,136 per month. Her appointment and contract was approved on a 3-0 vote, with council members Burns and White absent. City Clerk Gloria Stoddard announced her resignation at last night's meeting as well, making it clear it was in reaction to the firing of Gardner. Stoddard has worked for the city of Plymouth for 38 years.
And the Calaveras Sheriff Office, a marijuana enforcement team, served a search warrant Wednesday at an undeveloped piece of property off South Gulch Road in Valley Springs. Upon arrival, deputies encountered 3 men who were tending to approximately 40 marijuana plants. While investigating, it was discovered a chemical in white powder form had been applied to the plants, and it spilled onto the ground. Extensive watering onto a freshly graded area had resulted in the erosion of dirt and flow of water into nearby drainage. The ground showed white staining consistent with the spillage of that white chemical. Now, the 3 men were cited for illegal cultivation of marijuana. Although the initial charges are misdemeanor, the investigation continues. Now, on Thursday, the team served a search warrant on Michael Road and Mountain Ranch. That site contained 13 hoop houses, as well as 2 travel trailers, numerous water tanks, generators, bags of trash, and general debris. 7,921 marijuana plants in various stages of maturity were removed and destroyed from the site. Additionally, 342 pounds of processed marijuana, 1.3 ounces of concentrated cannabis were also seized. No one was present at the time during the execution of the warrant. The investigation continues.
Amador County Public Health has confirmed the first cases of West Nile virus in Amador County for 2018. According to Public Health Officer Dr. Rita Kerr, the appearance of West Nile virus in the county is not a surprise and has been detected in California and surrounding counties for the past few months. It is important that people be aware there are measures they can take to minimize exposure to mosquitoes and reduce the chance of becoming infected. Outbreaks of West Nile virus occur each summer in the United States and are most commonly transmitted to humans and animals through a mosquito bite. Although the risk of serious illness to most people is low, some individuals, less than 1%, will develop serious neurological illnesses such as encephalitis and meningitis. People 50 years of age and older have a higher chance of getting sick and more likely to develop serious symptoms. To date, in 2018, West Nile virus has been detected in 21 California counties. Public health officials remind us to take preventative measures to avoid mosquito-borne disease. For more information on how to minimize exposure to mosquitoes and reduce the chance of becoming infected, visit westnile.ca.gov.
And the Amador Sheriff Office released the identity of the Sutter Creek woman killed in Tuesday morning's 3-vehicle collision as 61-year-old Deborah Timmons. According to Highway Patrol, at about 8 in the morning, Alexandria Lane of Valley Springs was stopped on northbound Upper Jackson Valley Road at the intersection at Highway 88. Timmons was traveling westbound on 88, approaching 104 at about 55 miles an hour. At the same time, Sal Altamirano was traveling eastbound on 88, approaching 104, also at 55. Now, Lane believed the intersection was clear, drove her vehicle from Jackson Valley across the eastbound lane of 88 in an attempt to make it onto 104. Now, as Lane traveled into the westbound lane of 88, the front of her vehicle struck the left rear side of Timmons' vehicle, causing it to spin out of control into the eastbound lane backwards. Now, that's the eastbound lane of 88. The front of Altamirano's vehicle struck the rear of the oncoming vehicle, causing Timmons to be ejected and suffer fatal injury. Altamirano suffered minor injury and was taken to Sutter Amador Hospital. No further details have been released.
In response to the recent and dramatically increasing wildfire threat in our state, Pacific Gas and Electric is accelerating its vegetation management work in Amador and Calaveras counties to further reduce the risk of wildfire. According to CAL FIRE and the National Interagency Fire Center, in 2018, as of late August, more than 5,500 wildfires have already burned over 1.4 million acres. As a result, the utility is augmenting their community wildfire safety program to accelerate vegetation and safety work and reduce the risk of vegetation coming into contact with power lines. PG&E has already been working to meet state vegetation and fire safety standards, which now require a minimum clearance of 4 feet around power lines in high fire threat areas and clearance of 12 feet or more at time of trim to ensure compliance year-round. Now, this new work is scheduled to take place between now and the end of the 2018 wildfire season. If you have any questions, you can give PG&E a call.
And the Calaveras County Arts Council and Tri-Dam Lions Club have joined forces to host the second annual Night at the USO at the San Andreas Town Hall. The event features big band tunes by Blow Daddy, dinner, dessert auction, and drawings. Night at the USO will take place Saturday the 29th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the San Andreas Town Hall. Tickets are $30 a person or $50 a couple in advance and can be purchased online and held at the door. For more information, call the Calaveras County Arts Council at 754-1774 or visit their website, calaverasarts.org.
And this being National Suicide Prevention Week, today in Part 4 of our 4-part series exploring the high suicide rate in Amador County, Capital Public Radio's healthcare reporter Sammy Kayola looks at what local leaders and organizations are doing to help save lives and provide services to Amador residents.
Andy Rodriguez and Terry Works share a cozy home close to Jackson's Main Street. The walls are lined with books and photos from their birdwatching expeditions. They've been married 48 years and they're both retired. Andy was a letter carrier, Terry was a librarian. Terry gets me some tea before sitting down with Andy to do the crossword.
At radio letters for Beach Town. I'm going to get our tea. Do you take it black? Do you want milk? Do you want sugar?
They're co-presidents of the local chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which runs a weekly support group. Andy tried to take his life about 3 years ago. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder shortly after. That's when the couple got involved with the group. Terry is Andy's support system and his cheerleader.
And in a small town, it's hard to keep anything secret. It's hard to deal with stuff and not let anybody know, so for a long time we didn't say the suicide word, but I think we're even over that. Mm-hmm. It's just, you can't help other people until the point where you're willing to say, yeah, that happened to me too.
That's the idea behind Amador County's new movement to prevent suicide. Get people to talk about it, inspire others to seek help. Stephanie Hess is with the county's behavioral health department, and she manages some of the mental health dollars they get from the state. She's pushing to change the conversation around suicide.
When folks hear messages from people like them, or who have had experiences like them, they tend to accept the help more. I want people to not be afraid to ask for help. I want them to realize there's no shame in that.
But in rural areas, there's little help to be found. Amador County Supervisor Lynn Morgan says there haven't been enough dollars going to prevention.
What was being prioritized was the economic health of the county, meaning how many houses were being built, how many people were coming here.
She lost her own son to suicide, and that's driven her to push the issue. But it isn't easy because
there aren't jobs here, there aren't opportunities. It's, it's just not a productive place to be.
One relatively low-cost approach, training everyday people, church leaders, grocery store clerks, sports coaches, how to identify suicide signs and how to respond. It's sort of like first aid training for mental health. Terry and Andy are part of that growing coalition trying to get the word out. Andy says talking to other people helps him manage his mental illness. He feels like people don't really get that it never goes away.
You know, you have depression, cheer up. Well, you can't cheer up. You aren't necessarily unhappy because of something that happened, or something in your life. You just have the depression. It's like telling somebody with a cold to stop sniffling.
So that's why his group is around, to give people something to lean on while they push through the muck.
We're not alone. And it's not your fault. And you're not going to be able to fix it, but you can make it better.
Starting this summer, Stephanie Hess is using that state money to offer those trainings more regularly. She's also launching events for high-risk groups like youth, seniors, and middle-aged men. If it works, a lot of people are going to be opening up about their struggles for the first time. Sammy Kayola, Cap Radio News.
And if you're thinking about suicide or know someone who is, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. And this project has been supported by the University of Southern California's Center for Health Journalism. And I just want to thank Capital Public Radio for reaching out to us and asking if we would air these as well. They've been running on Cap Radio as well all this week. Well, that's a look at local news on a Gold Country Friday morning from the KVGC News Center.
I'm JD.
And I'm Jim Geedy reporting. Remember, for the latest news, traffic, and weather 24 hours a day, to visit our website, kvgcradio.com.